Hello, welcome to More Fun Fixing It. If you want to know what that nonsense was all about, stick around till later in the video and everything will become clear. But for now, I've got rather a special thing to build, so I'm going to hand you back to Pastly to build it. Right, so I'm going to be building this thing, which is, well, it's called FrankenPete, and it's a C64GS recreation. And this is a project on the Retro Hardware Discord by Dice Man Pete has taken this on. And I'm just doing the final bits. And later on, I will go into exactly everything that everybody else has done to make this come together. There's more to this. There's another box over there with more bits in it. All the inside bits, basically. But what the idea of this is to build from a scrap board, a Commodore C64GS, and then we're going to raffle it so someone can win it. But before we do that, I have to make my bit of this, which my contribution to this is going to be a C64 Saver. You can see this is the case for it, and this is the board for it that goes inside that case. Come on, focus. This is by one of my favourite creators in the retro hardware scene, VIC-II, who made this SMD version. And Pete did a group buy on the Retro Hardware Discord for these recently, and I bought 3 kits. And I'm going to donate one of my C64 power supplies, which is a good one, and it won't be a problem, but this is just a nice thing to have. And it's not going to be something that I'll have to make any permanent changes to that one. You can just like chop the wire off and then wire it in line, but what I'm going to do is put a socket, and I'm going to put flying leads coming out with a socket and a plug on, so it can be moved from different power supply to different power supply. So let's get to building this. Now I've got all the bits here, and I've got a bill of materials from Pete that's ready to go. There's one component out here already, and I'll show you this on the microscope. This is actually a U1, which is a TL43DBZ, and that's upside down, but it has to stay upside down. The numbers are on the other side, and it goes here. For some reason, I don't know why, this is maybe the wrong part, but it's an equivalent part, because I think this is a really difficult to get hold of part. I'm going to say part again. And this is the one that they could find, but the pinout is different. So obviously these 2 leads here on the left are the other way around. So it's fine to fit it upside down. Now I've bent the top lead, the one that I'm going to solder first, this one on the right. I've bent that one already so that it's where it's supposed to be. The other 2, I think, are sitting up a little bit proud. It's really difficult to tell. You can kind of get a little bit of an impression of it there. But this one has to be, apparently this one has to be done first. It says on the instructions here that I'm looking at, do this first. Is that fixed? No, didn't think so. I need some more solder there. That looks better. It's a bit wonky, but I'll reflow that after. So now I can show you now it's fixed in place. I can show you that the leads are indeed sticking up in the air. In fact, the whole thing is sticking up in the air. Let's get that back down. Yeah, that's better. It just popped up, but now, yeah, they're still sticking up in the air. But what I can do is just bend them down. I've got spares of these, so if I do, there we go. If I do break them, it shouldn't be a big problem. Now I can solder the other side. Right, so I thought that this, I showed this on an unbagging video. I thought this was a really good dispenser, but it's really mushy. It could be actually that my solder is, that my flux is running out. I said solder dispenser, didn't I? It's not a solder dispenser, it's a flux dispenser. Oh yeah, yeah, I'm right down the end of that now, but I'm going to change it to this one, just in case I can get a little bit more out of it. This is a bit more of a basic contraption, but it does work really well. I might have to buy a few of these. Yeah, oh no, there's loads in there. That's, yeah, this thing is just not very good at the last bit of the tube, it seems. So, oh well. See, loads of flux. There we go. Right, now where do we start? We've got loads to do. I'm just going to grab some random resistors, and what have we got? 330k here, which is R4. Let's stick that one in. Now, I could do all of this with solder paste, but I don't really like using solder paste. It's not my favourite method. I quite like putting all of the individual components on myself. I'm not going to try too hard to get them all straight. I'll reflow it after, like I said. Let's just get it all in there and then do a big reflow. I have 3.3k. That is R2, 3 and 5. Not even trying to get them straight. 1k is R9 and 10. Right, so R9, yeah, R10. It's going to be swimming in flux by the end. That one doesn't matter which way up that one goes. I'm almost deliberately making these wonky now. 33k, which is 33k is R7. I don't mind them being messy, but they have to be the right way up. 10k. I'm sorry if this is messing with anyone's OCD, but it's actually quite pleasing to me to see it like that. Okay, we've got 3.9k. There we go. I think that's all the resistors. Okay, Z1, which looks like a diode. Anything I need to know about? Stripe on the right facing R9 and R4. So that's in almost the right place. They're a bit more tricky to position, these. See, once you've got flux on there, the reason I didn't put it on straight away is you can't see the stripe. Okay, so we've got Q1. Q1 is a BC847, looks like a transistor. This one does need to go the right way up. I'm going to leave it there while I put some smush on here. Got it. That's good. Okay, so we don't do these ones. These are the same thing. So J1 and J7. So the red LED, got to work out how high to leave them though. I'll make them really tall and put those in last. So the LEDs I'll stick in last in here. What's this? This is this thing, that thing. And we've just got a capacitor over here to mount. I want to give myself room to hit that ground pad with the soldering iron. So I'm going to hang it out this side a little bit. And I've boosted my iron up to 400 degrees. Beautiful. Oh, I do love a shiny bit of solder. There's something very satisfying about it. Now I need to get the hot air out, protect my workbench with a bit of silicone like this, and then we're going to give this some hot air and see if I can make it flow into place. Should be enough flux on there. Airflow's too high. Right, 380 degrees, 50% airflow. That's still too high. 30% airflow. That Xenon diode wants to escape. There we go. I think that's still fine. I will check continuity between. I will check the continuity between those two ends just to make sure I haven't bridged that. But I think that's okay. Yeah, that's fine. Let's even check it on diode mode. 2.4 one way, 0.6 the other way. I'm sure that's fine. Probably because it's in circuit. Right, the only thing left to do now is to mount that one, then the LEDs, and then attach the wires to either end. And I'm going to have to work out the pinouts for the wires. It's always worth with an electrolytic SMD electrolytic cap just to give it a wiggle. Just because you've got a blob of solder here doesn't mean it's actually attached to the pad underneath. Can cause you an issue, that. Now, LEDs and cables. It's going in this box with these screws. Is that hot? Might be hot. So I'm going to actually put it in place. Okay, put it in place, and then I'm going to just pop the LEDs in here and see how much room I've got. That is about right. I'm actually going to solder that on the top side. Try not to melt the case. Yeah, I like that. Did I put that leg the right way around? It's meant to be positive on the left. Right, like that. Okay, let's get it back out and then solder the other lead on the other side and snip the excess. Yeah, I think that's going to be perfect. Right, now I just need to make up the flying lead. So in is going to be the socket, and out is not. Oh, I need to clean this. I should have cleaned this before I soldered the LEDs in place. Damn it. I just need to check that I put that LED in the right way around. Yep, both of the flat faces on the right hand side. Now, there are cable management slots down here to use with these cable ties. I'm not sure how I feel about those. I don't know if they're going to be strong enough. That got yanked. This is only PLA. I'm going to reinforce that, I think, with some UV resin at some point. But here's the cable. So we've got 4 cores in the here, and we've got 4 connectors on here, but we've got these 2 DIN plugs and sockets have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 connectors. So I need to work out which ones have to be connected. Okay, so I found this. This is actually from the classic retro toolbox. When you look for anything C64, that's now my go-to place to start looking for anything. So clicked on the power connector and it popped up this box with the pinouts on it. And just to check, I've got a C64 power plug here, and it looks like 2 is ground and 5 is, well, it doesn't look like, that's what it is, and 5 is 5 volts, and then the top 2, 6 and 7, are AC 9 volts. So that's nice and easy. So I just need to find out which, because these I can't mess up. They can be either way around. This one I can't mess up because it's in the middle. I just need to find out which side of the plug. I'm assuming that this is 5 volts. So I've got my multimeter here with a piece of heat shrink tubing over the top to help me guide the pin into the right place. Actually, I'm just going to pop it onto the ground pin. And then I'm going to measure, I'm hoping this is on, that right pin. That should be 5 volts, yeah. 5.5 and a bit. And then I don't need to check this, but just out of curiosity, I'm going to check those top 2 pins, so 6 and 7. And that's 11 point something volts AC. Perfect. Now, knowing that, I need to take one of these. I've already stripped the cable and cut the ends to the right length so that I can just solder that in place. But this is going to take a little bit of fiddly work. So I'm not going to do this on camera because it's just going to be impossible for me to do. I'll leave the camera going, and if anything interesting happens, then you'll see that. So that's going to be the same as the male. All right, so I've just realized that the female side of this plug, if I turn this around, then it's the same as the male side. So that ends up being the same as that. So 5 volts is down here. These pins are really close together. Not going to be much fun. I'm going to plug that into a plug. I'm plugging it into a plug. Just to give it a bit more thermal mass. Like that. That's going to be a bugger to get out, but I think it'll be worth it. So I'm going to use black as ground, red is 5 volts, and then these 2, yellow and white, are going to be the AC ones. So I need to strip these and tin them. Probably a good idea to do these one at a time. There's not a lot to, there's a hole inside there, but I don't think it's going to be possible. I'm just going to actually solder these direct, and then I'm going to reinforce it with hot glue after. which I'm sure will be fine. Okay, wire's tinned. I'm going to tin these connections. I just realised these are actually numbered. This one doesn't want a tin. It's not taking solder. It's like it's rolling off of it. I don't know, if I heat this too long, it will start melting the plastic underneath, and then we'll be in all sorts of trouble. I'm going to give this a clean with fiberglass pencil as well. It's better, but I'll prefer it both sides. Okay, we've got a good blob of solder on each one now. I think everybody hates soldering DIN plugs. Oh, hot, hot, really hot. Okay, that looks pretty good. Show you my handiwork. I'm going to slip some hot glue inside there in a moment. I'm just going to check that this bit fits properly first. So I need to make sure that that clasp there fits actually onto the black bit of the wire, which it does. It will do. Once this is in the right place, yeah, that clips in there like that, and that will go on that side, and then the clasp will clasp onto there. I think I'll clasp that now actually. Now, hot glue or UV resin. Thing is, hot glue is probably safer because it is easier to remove, but UV resin would be really permanent. But if I've messed this up somehow, then that permanence would be a problem. I'm going to go hot glue, I think, just in case this ever needs to be worked on again in the future, or someone wants to look inside it or take it apart and make different connections. I'm just chopping off a few bits of hot glue to wedge in around here. Probably going to melt my little vicing here, but never mind. It's only a cheap old thing I found on a car boot sale. I'll let that cool for a minute and come back to it. Oh, this is a bit better. This one is got the cups on the end. I mean, the conductors are too big for the cups on this, but okay, that's one end done. Feels okay. All right. Okay. I've got my two ends. Now I can attach them to this. So the inside needs a socket. I've just tried to hold this wire here to get it into the board whilst I soldered it, and it went absolutely horrendously wrong, and the wire's just, the insulator has just melted off. That's not ideal, so I'm going to have to take that out, heat shrink sleeve it, I think, and then put it back in. Okay, it's a little bit later, and I've got to this stage. I've got all of the flying leads connected and to the right ends, and I'm reasonably happy with how that went. It's not an easy thing to do. These conductors are quite thick, which makes it really difficult to work with them, to get them to bend and things. And what I thought would happen happened. The loop that's in the bottom of this for the cable tie to go through just snapped off as soon as I pulled the cable tie tight. So that's not going to hold it. So what I'm going to do is actually snip that cable tie off and get a bigger one. And then I'm going to use UV resin to hold it in place. But I need to know that it's actually working first as well. Some of these super chunky ones, these are a bit bigger than the ones that were supplied by Pete. So that'll stop that coming through there on its own, but I am going to just blob some UV resin down there and cure it just to stop that moving altogether. But I do need to make sure that it's working first before I do anything permanent. It's not a mains power supply, so it's not a big issue, but I don't like the thought of it being pulled or tripped against, you know, somebody trips over the wire and yanks the everything out and then shorts something out and breaks something. We don't want that to happen in the future. And those cable ties on their own will be enough to do the job, actually. That's not going anywhere. Okay, now I'm going to plug it into a power supply and hope it doesn't go pop. You should see an indicator light on there. No indicator light. Okay, have we got any voltages? Well, that's not right. Okay, so I've been on a little bit of a journey with this thing. A couple of things tripped me up. One was my inability to read instructions, and the instructions that Pete gave me were quite clear and even circled the important bits that he was talking about here. So mount new one upside down, I got that, and then I stopped reading. I just went down to the bill of materials and started installing everything. So the important thing that I missed was bridge pins 3 and 4 on J2 and 4, which is over here. It's not pin 3 and 4, it's actually 4 and 5, but you know, I still got it. I have actually bridged them now, and then it started working. This bit here is where the LED, and he's talking about the LEDs here. So there were these important bits here. Oh, and it's marked in red. Oops, he's marked in red the stripe for the diode that's installed as well. So the instructions were absolutely perfect. Just me reading them was poor. Now the other thing that stopped me in my tracks was this. I'm not going to grab the whole thing out because it's buried underneath my workbench. This is my C64 power supply, and it has all of the pins in the end here. Now, you saw me test this earlier, and I found that 5 volts was present on pin 5 here, which was me looking at this side of the plug. But this is actually the solder side of the plug, so it should be that way round. Which makes the left-hand side, as you look at the pin, it's this side, 5 volts. Now there's no 5 volts on this one, and that's because this was built for me by Adam Commodore lad, and he's connected up 5 volts to one of these pins, knowing that on a C64 board those pins are connected together. So if I show you the back of the power supply socket, those 2 pins are actually these 2 here, that one there and that one there, that are connected with this big connection here. In fact, I've seen it boards where this isn't connected and a bodge has been put in to connect those 2 together. So it wouldn't have mattered which one it was plugged into. And the reason I found this was because I grabbed my other power supply and another one. I grabbed 2 power supplies and I looked in the plug on the end, and you can see in here, if I hold this the right way up, so those 2 at the top there, are the 9 volts AC. This one at the bottom here is the ground, and this one is 5 volts. And it's on the left-hand side. On this plug, 5 volts is on the right-hand side. So when I connected everything up in these plugs and sockets, I connected it up the wrong way, and it wouldn't power up. So I've ended up altering that now, and then installing the jumpers, and then got it all done. Everything is, I was going to put some UV resin inside here as well to hold things steady, but this is quite a nice design on this part here that presses down really nicely on that cable, and they are not going anywhere. It's a good little design. So that's done and works. I can show you it working. I had mixed feelings about these plugs and sockets because the sleeve kept falling off until you got that clip in exactly the right place. They just didn't feel very strong, and they're okay, but they're not my favourite thing in the world. I prefer, I don't know, actually they're fine. I don't know what I'm causing a fuss about. So anyway, let's plug this in here, and that should, that's turned on, it's not turned on. Oh, this is the wrong one. So that's not going to light up because it's not connected to 5 volts. So to power this, I'm going to have to use this power supply or any other C64 power supply. And there we go. That lights up. Now that's actually working. I can show you that. I've got a scrapped C64 board here. And I should have 5 volts. 5 volts there. 9 volts coming in there. There should be 5 volts over here. Oh, it's the other way around. And there should be, the AC should be there, 10 volts. Perfect. So under load, that's working exactly as it should. I don't know what the green light does. I've not really looked at the instructions. But yeah, that's ready to go. So what next? So the next thing is these 2 things. These are the cases for the project that we're going to put together. This one is printed, I believe, in ABS by Chrissy Baps off of the Retro Hardware Discord, and the RMC, not RMC Retro, I don't know whether, or the Retro Collective Discord as well. You'll find him most commonly, and he printed this on a massive 3D printer, but it warped. I think, I'm not sure which side warped, but it does go together. It goes together really nice. Once it's clipped, it's still a really nice case. So I might keep this one for myself. Anyway, that's that one. I've got to work out what to do with this one. This is the one he's printed in PETG, and this one's got everybody, well, not everybody, but a lot of the people that are involved in this. So this is called FrankenPete 64GS. I'm trying to get that so you can see it. It's a bit difficult. From the Retro Hardware Discord, our logo, with thanks to Dice Man, which is Pete, Not the Henry, the Retro Channel, Chrissy Baps, Bambleweenie 57, the Retro Loft, Dougie Bowser, Factor of Matt, Rabs, Titanium Dan, More Fun Making It, and Lewis Carrera and Tim's Retro. It's a really nice thing to do, that is. So I've got to do a couple of things. One is install the board in here. Lead glue these. Install the board in here. I've got to find some feet for this as well. These are the inserts for the feet. So the actual feet go in there, and then I think these go in here like this. So I'm going to UV resin those in place so that they live like that. And then put some feet inside, but I've got to find some first. So there's that. I've got to install the board in here, which I haven't shown you yet. This is the board that was reclaimed. Henry was about to throw this away, and Pete said, let's do something nice with this. He's even socketed the Super PLA. That's really nice. It's not socketed. I think some of these were actually still on the board, so he's probably not taken them off on purpose. But he's yeah, repopulated everything that needed repopulating and recapped it, it looks like. And the only thing that's missing out of here, I love that way, Commodore just blanked these off. Like, you don't need that. No, it's a game system. You're not going to plug a disk drive in there. Yeah, so we're missing a video output. Well, we've got the normal video output, but a lot of the circuitry goes through the RF box there. So Mark from the Retro channel, lovely Mark, has provided us with an RFOFF kit. So I've got to fit this in here, put this in place of the VIC-II, connect this up to it, and then connect that to that somehow. I'm not entirely sure. I'm going to have to make sure. It's a VIC-II Luma bypass mod, but I think I'm going to have to actually work out how this goes in here first before I think it just drops in. Look at that. That couldn't be simpler. How nice does that fit in there? That's really cool. So I can just fit that in there, and then we've got an S-Video port out, and this one I think can do composite or audio. Do need to look up everything that I need to know about this before I go any further, I think. So I'm going to do that now. I'll be right back. I've just had a look at Mark's video, to which I'll leave a link to in the description, about the RFOFF boards, and I'm pretty sure this is the newer version. Yeah, version 1.1. He has a couple of different versions because he made the board and then improved it later on, so he had to make some more videos. So the big difference between the version 1 and the version 1.1 is the Luma bypass fix. So this is where the Luma signal would normally come out on that pin there that's missing, and that has been moved to this instead, which this will clip onto here like that, and then clip onto there like that. I don't have to make any cuts or anything to this. I don't have to cut the traces. On the previous version, you had to cut the traces to make it work. But I just want to check that everything lines up. Yeah, that's good. But with this one, you don't have to cut any traces. So I can just install this. I'm just going to stick some blue tack on either side just to hold it vaguely in place, and then let's get some solder on these pins. All right, I've just got that to sit down in the right place now, and I'm using my extra thick solder. This is 1.5 millimeters. I need to get some more of this. I'm running out. It's really, really handy for this sort of job. Makes filling in these big holes really easy. It's a lot of solder. Whee! Make sure you grab the right end of your soldering iron. Okay, that's all the pins secured. Now I can go back to my thin solder and do the signal pins. So all the mounting pins, I mean, have already been done. Here we go. Right, so I'm going to put the Luma bypass fix in underneath the VIC-II chip. That's got in there nicely. It's a nice cleanish looking VIC-II, so I'm just going to give it a little bit of a polish. Magic eraser and magic eraser sponge, nano sponge, and contact cleaner. And then I can connect this to the other end. So it would have been nice if I could have tried this out, you know, before and after, but I didn't have any RF modulator in here at all, so that wasn't really possible. But now I've got that in there, I can try connecting it up. I can connect an S-video cable to here and then audio out here, but I've got my normal C64 video cable here, which has got composite and audio. Plus it's got S-video on as well, but I'm just going to go for composite first because I know what that looks like. And I'm going to try it on my TV first. And just for now, I'm powering this with my power supply, so I'm not using the C64 Saver. I just want to see if it works. It does not. Ha! Interesting. That is very interesting. So, as I was saying earlier, it doesn't matter on most boards what side the 5-volt pin is on the plug, because those points are connected together. They're not on this one. That is completely isolated. So my power supply just would never work with this one. These two pins here are connected. Oh, it should work. Why is that not working? Oh dear. Yeah, it's working. Maybe there is something weird about my power supply then. I've plugged it in using the other one and that worked. What does this one do now? Yeah, that does nothing. That is really, really weird. So anyway, using the power supply that is going to be supplied with this machine, we get a C64 game system. Oh, Retro Hardware Discord FrankenPete edition. Oh, that's amazing. Okay, I need to show you this. Okay, so this is what we see at the boot up screen. Glorious. So it's a custom one that has been made by Matt Desmond and Diceman Pete have collaborated together. It's the FrankenPete 64GS stock, basic and custom kernel. And so that's asking for a cartridge. And it's saying that when you put the cartridge in, you need to make sure that that's off, that the power switch is off. So I've got two cartridges here. One is this cartridge, which is I think is an original C64 game system cartridge. I'm just going to pop that in to see what it does. Here we go. So we've got an option to try different things on there. I'm not going to go through these right now. I just want to see them working. And this is the Retro Hardware Discord special edition of the Kung Fu Flash, printed in glorious gold. I think this is PETG, translucent, or at least shiny. And apparently this is loaded up with all the C64GS stuff that you need. Oh. Okay. So that's brilliant. This is obviously Sam Battle's Eurovision Song Contest entry, but in C64 style. Fantastic. Okay. That must have been the last thing that was loaded on there. So what's left to do is to put this back together properly in the case and finish off the last couple of quality of life things. So that includes the cartridge flap. At the moment, the cartridge flap is just taped in place, but it needs springs and these rods. So Chrissy has told me, given me specific instructions here about what I need to do to make these work. So I'm going to have to figure that out now. I think the rods go through there. And I've got to fit springs as well. This is going to be fun. Right, let's get this. Oh, I need to put a screw in here as well. I believe there's just one screw mount hole. Oh, but I also need to put these in as well. So maybe I don't put the screw in. Gave me a load of screws. Thank you. That is really hard. I thought I was going to be able to chop through these bits of whatever this is. I got the hardest steel I've ever met in my life. I thought I was just going to be able to chop it off with a pair of side cutters. No, that's not doing anything. So I thought, no, a hacksaw will do. No, didn't touch it. So I ended up having to use a cutting blade on my little power tool thing there. That was really, really hard. But anyway, they are now the right lengths to fit into those slots. Now I've got to fit them through these channels, which go up and down without breaking them, and get the spring in the middle. And that's going to be like that. So the spring, well, it doesn't really matter at this point where it goes, but it's definitely in there. You're going to have to come back. Right, that was difficult. The rods for a start are this hardened steel, and they are just nails hard, really difficult to cut. I had to butcher two, not one, but two floppy disk drives that sacrificed their inner springs, or the door flap springs. These ones that were sent with the kit, they're just too bendy and they're not strong enough to do these. And they're actually they're not big enough to go over, not quite big enough to go over the pins. They stretch a bit and they will go over eventually, but it's the same diameter. This is a 1.5mm rod, and it needs to be a 2mm hole, which is what that spring in there is, and that one works absolutely perfect. This spring here is a bigger one. I think it's like a 4mm spring, and it works. It does work, but you can see it pokes through there a little bit, and it does occasionally get caught. So I've ordered some much more like this one, and it looks like that's a 9 wind on it. They do them in 3, 6 or 9 wraps around, and different angles of spring and all sorts of things. But that one is working absolutely perfectly. That is definitely the one. So this one works, but the spring is not, it's a bit malformed and keeps getting caught. So that's done. I'm happy. Yeah, it's already gone now. I'm going to leave that for now. I've ordered, like I say, I've ordered the springs, and hopefully by the time this is needed to be completed, that one's so happy with that one. I wish I had another spring like that handy. This one, nah. Right, so I've got 4 feet that need to go in here like this. So I'm just going to pop them in there, and I'm going to put some tape over each one to hold them in place. More tape than that. There's no point in doing that. Like that. Pop them down like this. And I'm going to run a bead of UV resin around there, and hopefully that's going to go down into, there's a crevice down there, and that will pop down into there, and yeah, that should hold it, I think. So I've got my UV resin. Let's find my UV lamp. That plugged in and ready to go. Right, that's ready. Oh, that's really good. Right, I'm going to give those each a little bit extra time just to make sure that they're fully set. And I need to find some feet. I've got these feet here that I've had for ages. Now, I don't think they're very sticky anymore. I think the sticky is actually gone, but I think they're going to be a really good fit. They're really close. I wonder if I can just trim around the edge. That's really good. So I just need to pop a little bit of soup glue in there and get 3 more of those. According to Chrissy, there's only 1 screw for this. There we go. Yeah, that's really held in tight, so okay. Yeah, I think the rest of these are the fixings for the other side of the motherboard, including the one I've just screwed in, I think. Yeah. Oh, that's a bit of a pain. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's being held up now. That is definitely the only one that is a screw post rather than something that's meant to come through the whole thing. That's just a support. These other ones are supposed to be where the other side of the case comes through, but not that one. It's just going to fall out if I don't put a screw in there. Okay, so I've got a few screws in there. I think that's looking good. Okay, so just need that cover on, and to work out what we're doing with this, we'll work that out. Okay, so there are a few other things that have been sent to me by Peter and everybody else that's been involved in this, and one of them is this is the manual for the C64GS, which is basically a C64C manual, but you know, ignore some of the ports that they've covered up, but it's nice to have. There's oh, it's actually the Flimbo's Quest. This looks like it's actually a manual for the games on that cartridge. Fiendish Freddy's Big Top of Fun. Where is it? Yeah, Fiendish Freddy, Flimbo's Quest, Clacks, and International Soccer. So it's the manual for that. That's nice. So that goes with that. And we've obviously got the Kung Fu Flash, that the special edition that's got all of the stuff on it that we need. And there's a couple of, I believe these are the joysticks that were originally sold with this, in the same colour as the original came in. These are, I mean, I'm going to say that they're there for as a conversation piece, because they're not actually, that one's not too bad. Relative to this one is horrible. It looks like Pete has done some work on these, so these look like new cables, and yeah, it's nice to have them with it. But I would say, if you're going to use this and you want a joystick, well, you need a joystick because you haven't got a keyboard, then I would definitely use a different joystick. I'll have a look in my stash and see if I've got a spare joystick, and I'll put a better joystick with it. So, right, we've still got to finish off this last bit, and this was supplied by Dan, Retrofied Dan from the Retro Collective. Here is his badge, and there's something else in here as well. So we've got the sticker for this bit here. I hadn't spotted this actually. The sticker for that square there. A warranty seal. I'm not going to put the warranty seal on it. Definitely not over a screw. I'm going to put it next to a screw. And we've got a couple of badges with a special serial number and made in the United Kingdom, C64. These are reproductions, obviously, of the originals, but slightly changed. And I'm not going to tell you exactly in what way that serial number has been changed or how you should type that into a calculator. Anyway, so we've got this bit that he's 3D printed and put the special little bits on here so that it clips into here, and he's made a sticker for the top of it as well. Which is a reproduction of the original C64GS, and I believe that just goes in there like that. And then, yeah, look at that. Isn't that lovely? Look at that. Oh, has that got is that a hole for an LED in there? There's a hole for an LED. That looks like a hole for an LED. We're going to have to fill that up. Okay, and I'll put these on. Actually, we can put this other Commodore one. So at least we've got the. No, let's put them on. Let's put all the stickers on. I'm actually quite tempted to put this sticker in here. That's not got sticky on it, so that just goes in there. So I need to flatten that out. There's a little bit of swarf in there from the final bit of the print. I just need to get rid of that. And that goes in there. I think I just need to glue that down, basically. There we go, perfect. Looks lovely. We've got an obvious spot here for the sticker underneath. So this is a bridged bit. This must have been printed the other way up, so this is the bottom surface. Yeah, didn't get the best finish on this bit. So the problem with putting a sticker on something that's not flat is it will actually show that every little bump. So I've got a very, very sharp chisel here, a very wide one as well, just to take out any raised bits. Chrissy, you should get a bamboo printer. Chrissy doesn't like bamboos. Right, it's not going to be seen very much, so let's pop it on there. We've got a spare to put in the pack as well. Oh, lovely. Yeah, it is a bit bumpy, but it still looks really good. Oh, it's great from an angle. In fact, the bumps actually look quite nice. The warranty sticker. Not sure what to do with the warranty sticker. Should really put it on the back here like this. I'm going to leave that till last. I might actually do that. So that it has to be cut. So we've still got to... I've got stickers to send with it. And the cartridges. And the joysticks. And the manual. We've got this to send with it. This is because the project is called FrankenPete. This was donated, and obviously this is FrankenPete. But just to give you a little spoiler, coming up at some time in the future is Bride of FrankenPete. There's another project on the way as well. So anyway, this one will be sent with this machine. And I'll hang on to the other one for the next machine. Which is, I mean, that's the complete package, isn't it? Although, wouldn't it be nice to have a box to go with this? I've seen one of those somewhere. Where did I see one of those? It's me. Okay. So I didn't really steal this from the cave. This was actually very, very kindly donated by Neil. And I happened to be at the Retro Collective Museum on Sunday, so I could stage my little pretend heist and have a go on their Sinclair C5, which I broke. But thank you, Neil, and everybody that helped out on that brilliant day. Thank you. So we've got this now, and this is going with all the rest of it, and all the rest of it being the C64GS itself, my power supply and power saver that I created. And this power supply is one that I've refurbished. So it's got an up-to-date circuit board in there. It's not going to fail, but you know, we've got belt and braces. It's going to be fine. And we've got the spare stickers and of course the joysticks that apparently these joysticks are going to be compatible with certain games because Pete has wired the buttons up separate. I think maybe the base button is wired separate to the top one, so they are 2-button joysticks, so there is a reason for them being in there. And as I mentioned, the LED hole that's in this part of the sticker in there, that's going to be filled with an LED. So before this is sent to anybody, that will have an LED connected into it. So you'll find a link in the description of this video, and also on my new website, morefunfixingit.co.uk. There will be a dedicated charity page on there by the time this video goes out, with all the information that you're going to need to get involved in this raffle. There will be a GiveWheel link there where you can buy raffle tickets, and I have to, for legal reasons, say that there will be details for how you can enter that for free. And I also have to mention that this is nothing to do with YouTube. This is all my own doing. Okay, so that's all the legal bits out of the way. So I haven't decided on a price for the tickets yet, but all of the details will be there. And then about 3 weeks after the raffle starts, when this video has gone live, roughly 3, maybe 4 weeks, depending on my availability, I'll do a live stream where we all draw the winners. But that's not the only prize. I recently featured one of these DRAM testers on my channel, and this is by Phil, and it's that was the wrong way up, the multi-retro DRAM tester. And this is a brand new version, and this is the 3rd one that Phil, the creator of this, has sent to me. And this one, along with its 3D printed case and a zip tester, will be a 2nd prize in the raffle. So thank you very much to Phil for providing that to us. And if you want any more details about that DRAM tester, there will be a link in the description to my previous video, plus the eBay listing if you just want to buy one. Oh, and the last thing that is going to be part of the bundle is obviously Pete himself. This is Pete. So please get involved if you want a chance of winning this amazing, super useful, and almost completely authentic Commodore 64 GS, I keep wanting to say C, with a Kung Fu Flash and another cartridge as well. The original cartridge for the C64GS with all the original software on it, and all of the other bits and pieces that go with it. And thank you to everybody that got involved in making this, everybody in the Retro Hardware Discord and beyond that helped us put all of this together. You are the best community in the world. Oh, one of the feet just fell off. I'll fix that before it gets sent anywhere. Obviously, I didn't 3D resin glue that well enough. Yeah, so thank you everybody that got involved in this and made it happen, especially to Pete, Diceman Pete, who put the whole thing together and did all of the hard work. This would not have happened without you. Thank you very much. Right, good luck in the raffle. I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Whoops, I'm going to need a better way of fixing that on. Yeah, that one's fallen off as well.